We begin with signs of movement on the question of supplying Ukraine with German-made battle tanks. Germany's Foreign Minister Annalenna Baerbock now says Berlin will not object to Poland sending its Leopard 2 tanks to Kyiv. It has long requested the tanks to bolster its defences against Russia's assault. Germany has so far held back from supplying the tanks, even blocked other allies from doing so. Third countries need Berlin's approval to export the tanks, but Poland has indicated it's prepared to send them even if there's no agreement with Germany. Let's bring in DW political correspondent Thomas Sparrow here. Thomas, do Germany's foreign minister and chancellor see eye to eye on the question of providing arms to Ukraine?
Well, this issue of providing arms to Ukraine, and in particular providing those Leopard tanks to Ukraine, is a very debated issue here in the government, among government officials. It is actually a long-standing debate, and they have not always seen eye to eye. It has to do with the fact that the German government is made up of three different parties. It's a three-way coalition, and it's actually not unusual to see government officials not see eye to eye, especially when it comes to these kinds of political or military decisions. But what we can also say from the statement by Germany's Foreign Minister Annalenna Baerbock is that there does seem to be at least a sign that this debate is moving towards a decision, and that decision could be to allow the delivery of those Leopard tanks. It's important here, Terry, to stress that we're talking about two elements. One is sending tanks that Germany has in its own stock, in its own Bundeswehr stock. And the second element is Germany authorizing third countries, for example, Poland, to send some of the tanks that Poland has that were made here in Germany. Germany has to give that authorization because the tanks are made here in this country. So all in all, we can say on the one hand that there is a big debate within German government officials regarding the delivery of those tanks. On the other hand, that we can see sign that the debate is moving forward.
Why, Thomas, has Germany been so reluctant to send tanks itself or even allow other countries to send them?
One element has to do with Germany's history, and in particular with Germany's long-standing reluctance to send heavy equipment to war zones. That's something that we saw for a very long time here in Germany, that actually started to change with the beginning of the war in Ukraine under Chancellor Olaf Scholz. That is something that has changed, but it is a slow and gradual process. There is still a lot of debate within government officials, within the German parliament, within the German public as to whether Germany should be delivering those heavy weapons to Ukraine. So that is one element. The other element that we clearly saw last week in discussions between Germany and its allies is the fact that Germany would like to avoid unilateral decisions. Germany would like to have decisions based on common ground with all of its partners. It would like to really understand what pros and cons there are to that delivery, and that is something that might take longer than what some partners, and in particular Ukraine, would want. So that is why Germany has been taking some time when it comes to these decisions. For German government officials, that is good. They've been taking that time. For Germany's critics, that reluctance, that reticence is actually a big problem for Germany's international standing.
Talk to us more about those critics. How is Germany's reluctance to deliver tanks or allow others to deliver them affecting Germany's standing among its allies?
Well, it is absolutely affecting Germany's standing among its allies. German allies have been very critical. And by the way, this is not something that's new. This is something that we've seen all along since the war in Ukraine began. German allies would like Germany to have a much more prominent and, above all, a much quicker role when it comes to the delivery of weapons to Ukraine. But the German government has time and time again taken its time when it comes to making those decisions. The German government believes it has the right to do so, to basically look at all the different opinions before making a decision. For the German allies, for countries like Poland or Ukraine or other countries, this is something that they view differently. They actually think that Germany should be more decisive when it comes to making those decisions, that it shouldn't take as long when it comes to, for example, delivering those Leopard tanks to Ukraine.
Thomas, thank you so much. Our political correspondent, Thomas Sparrow.